Afterwards, I went back to his place and we hooked up, which was great and what I wanted to do. But then after, he was like, I cannot believe that just happened. I cannot, he was like, I cannot believe we just, he said it so many times that I was like, I need to like rethink my lifestyle. Like, he made me feel so bad. Like, I was like, was that too soon? Was that,
you hung out a few times?
Right. I feel like the first date would be the only time that it's a real surprise.
He just thought you were really beautiful, I bet.
Yeah, I had a joke. It's like, I don't want to be a member of a club that would accept me as a member. And
Yeah.
it's like, I can't sleep with a woman who would sleep with me, okay?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to On the Apps. I'm Julian, comic in New York City. This is...
I'm Robin Richardson, an attorney in New York City, and we're here with...
I'm Aislinn Janek. I am a comedian in New York City and also a visual artist.
Very cool.
Nice. What kind of art do you do?
I make mixed media paintings. So I use acrylic paints to kind of build up texture, and then I sew through the canvases with thread.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a lot about the texture. Right now, I was working only with white on white, which is very frustrating to photograph.
I can imagine.
But my new work is black and white. So a bit of a departure.
Nice. Exciting. So, and you are, not to dive right into it, but you are, I don't know if you're not on the apps, but you were married.
I'm not on the apps, and I was married. So I kind of missed the boat with the dating apps because when I was younger, I didn't have a Facebook.
Oh.
So, and they're linked
And
to
that
the
was
Facebook.
like,
So I was
yeah.
like, I guess this isn't for me. And then I was married, so it didn't seem. I just like was married for. I got married when I was 22, and then we were separated when I was like 25. And then we got divorced in 2023. So, yeah, like officially divorced.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so quite a journey. That's an early marriage.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, by different standards, I suppose. I mean,
No, yeah, it's all relative. And I think that when I say that I got married at 22, people are like, oh, you're from Ohio. And that's like normal there. But I wasn't even in Ohio. I was in Albania when I got married. And that was sort of the story. I met my husband in Greece when I was on spring break. And it was a whirlwind romance. And
So you were American and you went over there?
Correct.
Oh, wow.
And I was American there as well. But I was studying abroad in Italy, so that's why the spring break was in Greece.
It's like a Hilary Duff style. Is that Hilary Duff? What movie is it? Where is she in Europe?
Rome, yeah.
Can you please catch up on Hilary Duff references? It's going to be littered with them. Okay.
I'm too old for this, but I do know this is a Lizzie something.
Lizzie McGuire.
Lizzie McGuire.
In stereo.
I'm in with the kids.
Yeah, right?
Well, that's kind of exciting. I bet your parents were like very freaked out about that.
Yeah, it's interesting because my mom, like, before I got married, she was literally like crying, like on the floor, like, I'm never gonna see you again.
Because you were going to move there. That was the plan.
I was already living in Greece. I was living in Greece.
But you did spring break and then you left and then came back for the guy.
Here's the timeline. So I was in Italy, and then I was in spring break in Greece, and then I after my program I moved to Greece to work at a gallery.
Gotcha.
And so I had spent like from May to October there, and then it wasn't the first year. I think we were together for 2 years before we got married. I don't know if that checks out, like, math-wise. But it felt like we were together for a minute, and then it was like, it became clear that he would be unable to travel to the U.S. without us getting married.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of like a big incentive for us to get married, was that then he would be able to come and live in the U.S. with me.
And then you did. Then you came back.
Yeah,
over
we
here.
did. We did. And we actually lived at my mom's house for quite some time, and for like a year. And
It's funny. She's like, I'm never going to see you again. You're like, well, now we both live with you. She's like, I'm seeing too much of you.
No, she loves it. Like, she literally like added onto the house.
Okay, so that's very sweet.
Yeah,
That's so cute.
it was. But then, like, as I was ready to leave the marriage, she didn't understand that, And she was like, what? Like,
So
and so
she
she
was
was like on
having-
team
Oh,
husband,
no.
like towards the end.
That's rough.
And like even after we were completely separated, like she would still like talk about him so much to the point where like my friends at home would be like, hey, are you guys like back together or like what's going on? And I'm like, no, she's just like a boy mom. So like,
Do you have brothers?
I have 2 brothers, yeah.
So okay, so you're now 4th on the list.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
Damn, yeah. When you put it like that.
How long were you separated before you got divorced?
So it was like a 4-year period.
Wow.
Yeah.
So were you dating in that time?
Yeah, yeah, I was. And it was.
But not still living at home together.
No. So I was, so we were like a year in Ohio. And then, like, to be quite honest, I, had told them both, like, well, I had told him, which was the most important person who needed to know that I didn't want to be in the marriage.
And your mom.
Yeah. And then also she, byproduct, found out. And she was just like, you'll change your mind. You'll change your mind. And I was like, that's not, but like when I'm the type of person, and this is a really bad habit that I have, is like when I feel I'm not being heard, I just turn off. And so that's what I did. And it kind of sucked. But the byproduct of that was like I created so much artwork. Like I had so many, like I was just in my studio, like I wasn't talking to anybody. I stopped drinking. I stopped doing drugs. So like there were like good things that came of that period. But and then I was just like, I have to like escape. And so what I did was I planned a summer where I had multiple artist residencies in Europe without, like, so I just like traveled, and then I was just like, and also this is for real. Like, we're
definitely
no
on
longer.
it.
Yeah.
What were conversations like? So like when we date and we're married, and it's all it's always like a sticking point when you're like get to the point of the conversation where you're like, and I'm married, it's fine, we're open, like da da da, and like that's the biggest barrier. Did you find that being somebody who's married but separated?
Yeah. So I have jokes about this where it's like it's actually easier. No, it was actually no friction. And also, I really wasn't, the people who I was seeing at the time didn't even really need that information.
Gotcha.
But I was very upfront about it because I do live in a world where like, I'm like, what if this next person is the person like and like I go, like it'll be harder to tell them down the line than it would be like right, up front. And so like I just would tell everyone that I met. Yeah. And I think that it actually attracted married people, like for the wrong reasons. Yeah,
as in people who were in a non-separated marriage. They were like, "Oh, great, we're both doing the same thing."
Right,
Like,
right.
no,
And I was
not.
like, "Actually, no."
Mine is allowed. Did you have a sentence you started to figure out that was easy to say it, that was not confrontational? If that makes sense.
I mean, saying that you're married.
As in, would you be like,
confrontational?
I'm married but we're separated? Like, did you have to get a little speech down?
Yeah, I guess I didn't really have a spiel for it, but yeah, I would just tell people like that I was married and then we haven't been together for however long it had been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be hard if you were the other person. It depends on what you want, but there'd always be part of you who's like, are you really? Like, are you just doing a 6 months thing and then you're going back and because your mum said you were.
Your mom called.
She said it's going to be a quick fling and then you're going to be back with the guys. So
She said you will definitely change your mind.
she's still building the extension. So she got the permits. You're staying.
We're all moving in.
No, but that is interesting, dating with that. And yeah, so did you have like long-term relationships during that time?
I did. That's what I mostly do. So, and this is where like I'll kind of be like, oh, we're just being casual. So kind of like things that are like red flags or things that are annoying about somebody, I kind of don't say anything because I'm like, oh, we're casual. And then like 4 months later, we're like living together. I'm like, oops.
Yeah, this is a quick thing. It doesn't matter.
Wait, how does that happen? Do you feel like you're like, because I was like a serial monogamist when I was younger, and and like now older, and that I'm older looking back, I just realized like I was just kind of like not making choices. I was just like letting them make choices.
That
and I was
sounds
like, okay,
so
sure.
similar. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was it. It was
Where you
like-
just kind of like fall into it.
Yeah, and you're like, well, he asked if I could move in. And I guess I don't have any reason why to say no.
And I know so many women who I feel like have done that, and then suddenly they're like 28,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, I'm not happy.
You're like, I hate it.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is and then the guy's like, whoa, and it's like, yeah, I guess I just never really made the choice, because I feel like a lot of women, I don't know, have told me like they feel pressure to get married, or society says you should get married, you'll be happy when you're married. So if a man's willing to do that, they're like, well, I should probably do it.
I felt less about society and more about just like telling someone that I'm having sex with that I don't want to date them. Like that what felt like a conversation that was harder to have.
To break up, you mean?
Or
just
to be like, I don't actually feel this strongly.
Yeah.
or that sentiment felt strange maybe even to like process. So I'm like, well, I'm having sex with this person.
It should be going
Maybe,
to marriage.
yeah, perhaps that's what I was thinking. But also, I mean, that period, like when I was still with my husband, but not really present in the relationship, like that is kind of something that I've seen repeated in my life, because I'm like, oh, I'm not happy, but I just stay because that's what I've done. Yeah,
It
not
is a
really.
difficult thing to kind of break. I mean, I was a shit. I would just cheat, and then I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta get out of this. Oh no, I cheated. Whoops." And that's like a really shitty, immature way to deal with that. But it's like, I don't know. There is something like really awful about breaking up with somebody that just, and you would just stay. You're like, let's just.
Oh yeah, big worm energy. I finally got a backbone later in life, but the thing I told Robin last time is it's when I knew I was bad. I don't know if you had this in your relationships, but you're like, oh, I hope they cheat. God, I hope they fuck up, and then I can break up with them, and I don't have to do anything.
I did low key shave my head my last year in Greece, like thinking that like that would be the straw to like.
Yeah. You're like, he will leave now.
Yeah, I mean, it was really hot and I did want to shave my head, but I was like, this is going to do it. Because just like, I don't know, Albanians are very like traditional. And so like, it was very shocking, I think, for him and his family to see me without hair, but they were like, we love you. And I was like,
Damn it.
You were like, okay, give me an offensive tattoo on top. Let me just shaving your head is that's such. I relate to this worm behavior. The things I would do. I mean, you obviously had reasons as well. But it's like, what else can I do that is not a conversation? I'll do literally anything except the conversation part. I think the first time I sent a proper, it was like when I'd been on a few casual dates with someone, which was enough time where you could send a text to finish it. I was like struggling, and I had a friend at work help me write it, and I sent it, and she was like, okay. And I was like, oh, I guess you can just do that.
Yeah.
So good. I don't have to see you anymore.
I'm getting better at that.
Yeah.
And honestly, stand-up comedy has helped like with words. Like
Yeah,
I
God.
used to, and I also joke about this, like expressing yourself through visual media for so long. It's like you forget like that no one else, this is a language that you made up and nobody else understands it. So
You sent an art piece. You're like, so clearly.
Clearly.
Oh, thank you for the gift. No, this means we're broken
You're like,
up.
no. You are misunderstanding.
You don't understand? It's black and white. The thread. You never understood me. We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
No.
And so now you're dating, but you do not use the app. So how?
Right.
Where
And
do you meet
actually,
people?
since I actually am kind of not dating as of the beginning of this year, but where I meet people, just around. So
in person.
Yeah,
just
in
like
person.
in real life.
Yeah.
Are you the type of person who speaks to strangers?
Yeah, I do that,
yeah.
unfortunately.
No, it's not. There's nothing wrong with it.
I do that. And so I had a job last summer that was really great for this because I had just gotten broken up with in a really abrupt way. And I was working at a frame shop in the West Village, and all of these guys were coming in who are interested in art, and I was like,
And
oh,
have
this
money
is
to
like
pay for
just
frames.
great. Yeah, exactly. And so that was like really key for like rebuilding just kind of like the banter of like flirting with people and kind of doing it like that. So like that was a source. And then I think I also will.
So you
like,
mentioned the frame shop hookup
Oh,
in
yeah.
the form.
Oh,
Can I
yeah,
say, before
yeah.
you get into that, when the first time I
It's
went
not
to a
a
frame
long
shop,
yeah.
every time I went, every man, the first time you get something framed, you're like, that'll be how many $1,000 billion?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'll do this framing piece. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, why is this? And I understand,
That's
obviously, it's
such
expensive.
a great way to meet men, but I feel like they would skew older. But the great thing about it is that
Not necessarily.
Oh, really? So the great thing about it is that these are people who care about art and care about their decor. They care about what they care about beauty or like at least being interesting. And then they have money to frame something and the knowledge that you should have it framed.
Right.
And then last, but like you're not going to get like a lot of repeat business. Like,
Yeah.
So like if it goes poorly, it's not like you're going to be seeing them every day.
I do think less of them would be maybe single. I don't know. I feel like the cliche is that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Anyway, but so go on. What's the?
I don't
frame?
know. Yeah, this one, there was a ton of nice guys who came in, who told me they were single. I guess I don't know.
They brought it up. They were like, "I needed us framed." Also, is there a singles discount? I'm single. Oh, sorry. That was a picture of my penis. Sorry. This is the.
Oh, we
artwork
would get
I
a
did.
lot of those.
Really?
Yeah, but gay penises, I guess.
Who wanted to like
Like
frame?
blown up.
Gay men
Gay men
get
are, like-
framing genitalia for their home.
You know what I love that's funny is like when you say that immediately, I'm like, oh, that's cute. But in any other context, if some straight guy was like, yeah, that's I want my dick
No.
above the mantle, so every woman who comes in knows it.
It wasn't their dicks though, right? It was like beautiful
Yeah,
bodies.
I think it was like some from vintage magazines and like catalog or
Yeah.
like calendars and stuff like
I
that.
thought it was like a
Old
his and his
Playgirls.
situation.
His and his, yeah.
My penis on there. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but this one frame shop guy I met at the frame shop, we hung out a couple times, and then we went to a comedy show actually, and then afterwards I went back to his place and we hooked up, which was great and what I wanted to do. But then after, he was like, I cannot believe that just happened. I cannot. He was like, I cannot believe we just. He said it so many times that I was like, I need to like rethink my lifestyle. Like he made me feel so bad. Like I was like, was that too soon? Was that like?
How,
like
you said you hung out a few times?
right. I feel like the first date would be the only time that it's a real surprise.
Yeah.
But even then.
Then
So you had hung up a few times before that.
he just thought you were really
yeah.
beautiful. I bet.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's what it was. He just thought you were really beautiful.
But
yeah.
that's a classic rookie mistake every man's made. You hook up with someone you think's out of your league, and then you're like, "Thank you." Oh my
yeah.
god.
Oh my god.
I
I
was like,
never.
You
thought
gotta act like you've been there before.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened.
Yeah.
No, he definitely was like, maybe you were hooking up under your league. That was it.
I don't know. I thought it was cute.
That is like a weird thing. He just kept saying it?
Yeah.
Did he ever
like,
explain
multiple
it?
times.
Did you ask?
No, because I didn't ask. I was just like,
The first time he said it, we like kind of flattered. Oh yeah, no, don't worry, we had sex. And then he said it. You weren't flattered. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel flattery. I felt like he
Like he was judging.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. But again, I'm probably reading into it.
No,
too
no,
much.
but that's a shitty way to say that.
Yeah, it would just be so shitty
I-
if he was like, I can't believe that.
Yeah, I
You know,
can't
like,
believe.
He's like, what's that joke? It's like, I don't want to be a member of a club that would accept me as a member. And it's like, I
Yeah.
can't sleep with a woman who would sleep with me. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
That is funny. Frame Store is like that's a Netflix show that hasn't happened yet. They've done everything else. They've done the marketing, Emily and Parry, whatever. Frame Shop, that'll be it. Let's work writing on that, Robin. Put that down. You had mentioned on your first date with your husband, he cried.
Oh yeah. So first he picked me up on the beach. Like we so I was in Santorini, Greece, in March, which is not like a popular time to be there. So like we were the only people on the beach. It was me, him, and his brother. And I was actually quite annoyed by them because they were playing like this ping pong like rack, and it was like rack, like back and forth. And I was like, oh my god, I just like want to be here and quiet. And like they were just
At
making
this
a
point in
bunch
time,
of
you
racket.
did not know him.
I did not know him.
And you were not ready to, like, he didn't bring his brother to your first date.
No.
Okay,
This is not the
just
first
how you
date. This
met.
is just
Okay.
how
when
we
they
met.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and then yeah. So not.
I was like, this
I'm
is
not
so
gonna
weird.
answer the questions. And so he came up to me and like lays down like where I'm laying down, but like a 6 feet, like a COVID distance away.
Was it COVID?
No, it wasn't. But it was just like I thought it was funny like how far away he was, because and still
He was
like,
trying to be
talking.
non-threatening, but
Yeah.
like, but also
Exactly.
there's
I
a whole
kind of
beach.
like that. Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah,
Not like
I did
sit
too.
down.
Apparently,
He gets on the same towel. So
Yeah.
you just,
Can you just scooch over?
Yeah, and he was really cute, and actually ended up giving me a ride back to my hotel because again, like it wasn't high season, so there was like no more buses, which I didn't realize. So I would have been like walking for hours back to my hotel. But so he already saved the day. But the first day we just went to get drinks, but it was a Real Madrid game, and they lost. And he's a big Ronaldo fan, and he's crying at the bar.
Oh no.
What is it? This guy's Italian, you said?
Albanian.
Albanian. Okay.
Albanian.
These
Albanian
European
living-
men, they
Albanian in
feel,
Greece, yes.
they feel hard. These European men. Don't they?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like he was, but also had this other side that was like, highly emotional and sensitive.
I would have difficulty sleeping with somebody if I saw them cry over a soccer game. I'd be
Yeah,
like, oh no, because it's like I'm like not a sports fan, and it's also like it's like soccer culture is like associated with so much like toxic masculinity.
like hooligans.
Yeah,
and, like,
hooligans, but just to like have somebody cry, because you're just like, I don't know, you're like, well, you're not even from Madrid.
Yeah.
Like what? You just like this one man so much that you cry when he loses a game.
Yeah.
It's so to me, sports are insane. I do not understand them.
And I'm on board with that. So I don't even know. But again, I was just like, there's no red flags here. No, I think I was more like, oh, he's so sensitive. Like he's different.
Were you able to like have a conversation during the game, or was he like watching the whole time? Like,
You know, English wasn't really as prominent. Like, so yeah, we spoke, but we weren't talking like in full sentences to each other.
do you speak Greek?
Mila ligo Elenika. And I speak a little bit of Albanian as well.
Okay, so you could have a conversation.
Not on the first date. So like I didn't speak Albanian initially.
Oh,
like I
gotcha,
learned because like so like when I would stay like 4 years eventually in Europe, and like most of that time was in Greece, but then like I would spend months in Albania or like in other countries. So like I was at one point in Albania for like 3 months without him. I was with his family was there, but that's where I like, really became proficient communicator.
But that means it's such a funny first date, because that story you're describing is something, but in terms of like not being able to speak, because I've heard that story a lot from like my parents and grandparents' generation. Well, I think, you know, so many times, like my grandparents' friends and parents' friends are like, oh, we didn't speak the first year, but it was just like this physical, intimate connection beyond that. And I hear much less of it now. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. You must have had a great physical connection. Or
I'm an old soul.
okay, that's it. And he's crying. You don't even know why. Like he's speaking, he's babbling, like.
He's so sensitive, and he's like, oh,
Ronaldo. And you're like, I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
Does it mean I'm beautiful?
No, and like he spoke English. Like I didn't mean to say, but just not like a like. We had a lot of misunderstandings, and honestly, like I kind of got used to it, and to the point where I feel like it's a benefit to have a barrier. So like it kind of gives you a minute. Like if you, especially me, I like tend to speak before I think, and then so I'll be like, oh no, actually we use that word, and it kind of means this in America, where really I'm just like making stuff up.
Oh, that's classic. Yeah. No, yeah, it's not what it means at all.
Yeah. Oh no, you misunderstood. See, it's like it's slang for this.
That's a classic argument winner.
Yeah.
No, that is yeah. Crying on a first date, Robin. I don't think you would forgive me for that.
I wouldn't really enjoy somebody taking me to see or like watching a soccer game while on a first date.
Yeah, I don't think I think I was just like enamored to like be, you know, I was like studying abroad. Everything was like a new experience. So I'm like, even I turned 21 on that trip. So like I was literally,
that would have been so exciting.
And
like
you're
you in
looking
a
at, like,
local
a
spot.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
these locals, you're like, this is so cool. What's happening?
No, when I was 21, speaking English proficiently, or like at the same level as me, and taking me to a bar where we watched a soccer game would not have been a deal breaker. At 21, no way. Especially if I had dark eyes and an accent. No way.
Yeah.
Your husband has light eyes, by the way,
Yeah,
so maybe just.
It's one of the things we fight about the most.
You got to work on that, Julian.
Yeah, seriously. Rude.
Be better.
I'll try. You know what? After this, we're going to a sport game. Okay? It's going to be loud.
We're going to the U.S. Open.
That's right. And I'm going to speak Albanian. Okay? Nothing but Albanian. I got to learn that. You had a thing about escaping a date somewhere.
Yes. I don't know like where this story should live, but I think here.
So it shall.
Yes, because I was like I mentioned, I was in Italy studying abroad in Florence, and this European men are just like kind of like wild. Like they'll just like talk like the
They're
way that they
forward,
like
right?
forward, very forward. So I think this guy just like asked me the time, and then like before I knew it, we were like on a date. Like we were. He was
like,
like,
"How
"What
does
time
this
is it?" And I'm
happen?
like, "What?" Literally, like I am really lucky. Like I survived my study abroad trip because I would just kind of like say hi to anyone, and like the first night that I was in Florence, I like got into a stranger's car and like
Oh my God.
I know, but it worked out.
No wonder your mom was scared when you're like, I'm getting
Yeah,
married. She's like,
she
no.
doesn't even know about that.
She's getting in people's cars.
It was because I arrived the day before my school. The rest of like the class arrived, and so like the next day at orientation, they were like, "Here's everything you don't do," and I like had done 70% of it like on the first
In
night.
one day.
I was like, "Oops." But anyway, this guy, we just have a glass of wine, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna like leave now and go back to my own place, and you can be on your like back to our separate lives. And he didn't really agree with that, and so he like follows me, and then is walking with me, and then like has his hands on me, like on my like arm, and then like we're walking through this like Piazza della Repubblica, which is where this kind of it's not a Ferris wheel, it's a merry-go-round, is in the square, and I'm like so afraid right now that like I'm about to be trafficked, and so also just like being young and kind of like acquiescing and not really knowing how to firmly say no. I'm like, oh, I really want to get on this merry-go-round, and so he pays for me to get on. I ride around one time, and then on the second time I jump off the back and run to my place.
Oh my God. That's so smart, actually. That's
Right?
very,
No,
very
I
quick
thought
thinking.
it was.
He's actually still on that merry-go-round
He's
right
like,
now.
where did she
Well,
go?
I find it funny when first up as an Australian, we're like, I think a lot of women I've met from America and then other Europeans who've come to visit would say that we are less forward.
Very not forward
Much
at
less,
all.
and American men are more forward than us, and European men are more forward than American men.
Yeah.
And which is why I find it very funny. First up, this one girl I was saying, she first got to Australia, she was so happy. She was like, I love it, there's no catcalling here. And that very quickly became, what is with all the pussies in this country? I've been sitting at this bar for an hour and no one has approached me. I'm like, yeah, they're two sides of the same coin. And the European men, whenever women are like, I love European men, I'm like, I think they're creeps. Not all of them, but I think there's like, but I think that's the normal. I feel like it's more normal there, and like girls and European women will like blow me off, and I'm like, oh, she doesn't want me, but really, she wants me to do what a European man would do,
I think
and
Just
walk
go
with her.
harder.
it's kind of difficult too to like to calibrate to that because I would be having like alarm bells going off too, and for him, if that's like normal, and he wasn't a creep, and he's just like, oh, this is just how you have to show a woman that you like them,
Yeah.
otherwise they're gonna think that you're not interested or you're not manly. Like it's impossible for you with your calibration to then like in that moment
Yeah,
And nor
calibration's
should
a good
you.
word.
You shouldn't, right? Like
His story is just having a wonderful date, and then this woman
really
runs
nice
up the
date.
back of a merry-go-round.
yeah.
What a complete crash out she had.
It's like, oh, she was crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's also like recalibrating to guys in American men. Here I'm like, oh, everyone hates me, but it's actually just like, no, it's cool that everyone can like respect space.
They'll be like, hey, what's up? What are you going for? Like no matter what happens and whatever the...
Yeah, one of the first days that I was in Florence, or I went to the farmer's market, and I go up to the first vendor and get tomatoes, and he comes around, hands me the tomatoes, and kisses me on the cheeks. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's their culture. So every vendor that I saw that day, I kissed them on the cheeks. That's not their fucking culture. That's not their culture.
They're like, what in the world? This crazy Americans running around just kissing all the vendors. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that could have been like, oh,
Adorable.
you went to Tony.
Yeah, like, oh.
You got
he
tomatoes from
another
Tony.
one. He got another one.
Yeah.
So you were instigating it. They were like, no. And you're like, I know it.
No,
I know how to do
get in
it.
here, get in here.
They're like, just take the cabbages and go.
Yeah, but I think, just to reiterate, that flirting is just a part of daily life in Europe. And I will say in Queens too, and where I live in Astoria, it is a little bit more like people call you sweetheart and honey at the store. Like, it's just a little bit more old school.
Is Astoria still a very Greek neighborhood? It's been a while since I've been
Yeah,
there.
it's definitely Greek. I mean, there's a mix of everyone, but yeah,
Gotcha.
it's a lot of Greeks.
So it's like, you say that that's like a cultural, like, because people are bringing their cultures from elsewhere, or is that just like has a neighborhood feel and it feels small and people are
Yeah, Astoria feels like it's stuck in the 80s.
But Astoria has it's the best neighborhood to eat in. It is
One
like
of the best.
It's an incredible neighborhood to
One of
eat
the
in.
best.
Well, because you get to kiss everybody on the cheek, which is super convenient. I like that a lot.
Well, I think even so, I dated a French guy for a little while, and he used to tell me I was the most beautiful woman in New York City, and I hated it. I
Yeah.
was like, shut up.
I say that to a
just-
joke to Robin now. To piss her
it's
off, I
like-
go.
And like it's like so insincere. It's so like smarmy. It's so like it made me feel like, do you really think I'm that fucking stupid? And I'm sure he was like, oh, this is a really kind, sweet thing to say to a woman that you're dating.
This works on the
And
dumb girls.
Yeah, and I hated it. I really just it made me feel like he was just like he just thought
Yeah,
I was a fucking
Did
idiot.
I
you
get
tell him?
kind of stuck on statistical accuracy, so it's like you haven't met like how would you even know
No,
that?
this is a man who works in fashion. Like, I'm like,
Okay,
no, like
well.
you see beautiful in New York. Like, we don't have a lot of like natural beauty in the landscapes, but we have beautiful women, like of all stripes, and like to like I don't even think there's such a thing as being like the most beautiful.
Right.
Right. It's like that you could. There are some days when people look really, really good, and some days when they look like shit, and everybody has different. And like just even the idea of the most beautiful, it made me angry. I was like, oh, get away from me.
Robin,
Oh.
Yeah.
Go number one. The real estate this has had in your head for a man who I think was
Oh,
20 years
yeah,
ago.
20 years ago.
20 years
So
ago.
long.
But what was, by definition, a compliment. And you're like, this fucking... to this
Fuck
day, she
this
hates the
guy.
French. But I will...
I've never dated another French man.
No, but I will say to Robin now, be like, Robin, you're the most beautiful girl in this room. And she'll be like, thank you. It'll be just us.
That I won't mind.
Robin will walk around and be like, yep, this room I got. Someone hot walks in, I go, I
Nailed
take
it.
it back, I take it back.
Take it back. And I'm just like, yeah, so like that culture of flirting and like
Being over the
telling
top,
people-
yeah.
You're just like, say something real. I don't know. But
You're liking a statistical thing. Do you know Tim Minchin?
No.
Oh, he's a
comic?
comedian in Australia. He's like a big time, so I don't know him. But he has a song called 1 in a Million. And the joke is like, you're 1 in a million, which means there's like 1,000 others just like you. And it's like, if you were to die, someone else would do. And it's a very funny song.
That's so true.
You're 1 in a million.
oh, thank you. Probably true. That one,
Probably- that one you can get
also
around.
accept that one.
But yeah, I get what that guy's doing. But I do understand that it can be when someone does something like that, you think you're some 19-year-old idiot who's just going to fall for it straight
Yeah,
away.
There's something about it that just feels like I'm like, you think I'm really gonna just get into your van, don't you?
What would you like? What's a compliment of that ilk that you would
You
enjoy?
look wonderful today. I love like you smell great. I don't know, just
Yeah.
something normal.
Something specific. I think that's also my gripe with catcalling in general. Is like the last guy who spoke to me on the street was like great ass, but he was standing in front of me. So I'm like, what's that for? I'm like, what?
What's funny
It's like
is-
you're just like trying to fill the air right
Yeah.
now. Like
What I like is it's almost like he is just doing the numbers game. It's like, I'm not going to bother. It's like he sends 1,000 CVs out. And you're like, I actually need you to put a bit of effort in. Maybe a little quality over quantity. One thing I want to say about catcalling is that I find this funny in like this current era with media and TV. Whenever they have like a bad guy catcalling, it's always like a white dude, a white American guy, and I'm like, we are the one thing white American guys do and white Australian is we catcall the least. The Europeans do it more. Every other race in New York City. The only person I don't really see catcalling for the most part is like a traditional white American male. It's the one non-creepy thing. They'll date rape you at a frat bar, absolutely.
Yes.
But catcalling is the one thing we don't do, and if we do it, we'll be more specific.
How long ago was it that catcalling happened?
like a week ago.
Oh wow.
Where were you? Astoria?
Yeah.
Astoria,
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha.
And what describe the person so I can see if my theory holds true.
He's Eastern European.
I have, first off, you said nice thing to say. I don't think catcalling, you smell nice.
Yeah, I know that one. But
Yeah, you-
like, I don't know, something specific, like even just like, oh, I love those shoes.
Well,
I don't know.
the thing you're told is to do something about what they're wearing, a choice they made as opposed to something
you're
about
supposed to
them.
comment, if you're gonna make any comment about somebody at all, it should be something that they like chose that day.
Okay.
But do you think there is a spectrum that goes too far into like, I'm your gay best friend? If I was like, oh my God, you are wearing that dress, as opposed to like, nice ass. Like,
No,
where do you want it to
I
sit?
don't know. I think because the more specific and the more like into gay best friend territory it is, just the easier it is to actually respond to with like, oh, thank you, I got this here, or oh, thank you, this is my favorite, or like.
I like the way the shoes match your nail polish.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, you noticed that. Oh, or oh my god, I didn't notice that. You know, like if there's just something more that you can add to it, where it's like nice ass, you're just like, sure,
Yeah.
my mom gave it to me. Or there's like, I mean, the reason why people give that advice about not complimenting, like that's more like work type advice, because like if you're like, oh my god, you've lost so much weight, like that person might have gotten sick or something.
Yeah.
So those are like the reasons why you're supposed to do that. When it's like
You know the Vanessa Jackson thing. You know Vanessa Jackson?
No.
She's a comic, but she's very, very good. She's very funny. She's like high up, but she lost a bunch of weight. And I didn't want to say anything for the longest time because you don't know. And finally, I was like, hey, I just want to tell you, I think you look great. And she goes, finally. And she goes, I've been working my ass off to lose this weight. I look amazing. And you guys were all too
nobody will say
cowardly to
anything.
say anything. And it was so
like,
funny.
Oh, the magazines and newspapers told us not to say.
I'm not allowed to say anything. And then I was like,
I read too
okay.
many think pieces I can't.
And then I was like, and great ass. And she was like, oh, you blew it. You blew it.
So when you like meet people in real life, oh, you said you decided consciously to not be dating this year. Has that worked out for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
As in it worked out, as in you haven't succumbed, you haven't had like a random meetup, or you haven't intentionally dated?
Well, I mean, I've hooked up,
Yeah.
but I haven't, like, when people approach me and, like, ask for my information, I just say, I'm not dating right now, and that keeps them at bay.
But then if you hook up, that's like you're out on a night out.
Oh, that's somebody else. Like, I knew him already.
Oh, you have a
It's
roster.
an old, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
He's like a pressure valve. for
Yeah,
this
yeah,
person.
I more meant the challenge is people who say I'm not dating, and then they'll hook up, and it's hard because if it's good, then you're like, well, I could see him again, and then oh, I'm dating again. Had this happen?
Or oftentimes, I don't know, I've had girlfriends who are like, I'm just fucking done. I'm so fucking done. And then like you'll see him again the next weekend. They're like, I met a guy.
I love this cycle. That's like Pep is always like, I'm done with men.
I'm done.
And then she's like, so there's this cute boy at a Jamba Juice or something absurd at the framing shop.
The frame shop. No, I say I'm done trying to impress men. I just want to get on his therapist's good side.
That's good. I like the jokes, but I want to go to my partner's therapist so she can hear my side of the story, because I know I'm getting flamed over there.
I just love the idea there's a therapist somewhere who's like, no, you should be able to believe that happened.
Yeah.
You don't believe it. She did go home with you. And she
Oh, that's some
had
kind
time.
Well, I tried the thing you said where I repeatedly said, I can't believe you had sex with me, I can't believe you had sex with me, and it didn't work.
Didn't work. She hated it.
Yeah.
You had mentioned the hot take was that you should choose career.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. Because I never did that. And that's what I'm doing this year. And
Yeah.
it's fucking working. I think that like the setup in like a rom-com is always like the busy lady never is seeing people, and then like she finds this guy who's like wrecking her work life, but it's like worth it somehow. And I've just never, like with my marriage, like I chose to, like, I spent all my money like flying back and forth to Europe, and really just put that first, like without really considering what that was doing in terms of like my degree. Like I don't have an art degree because I was taking classes online so that I could live in Europe and be in that relationship. And so I have a communications degree, and that's fine, and I like that, and it all worked out. But I just think that choosing career is actually choosing yourself first, because it's your
Well, you own that forever. That can't be taken away from you.
Exactly. It's in terms of education, like it's what you know, and like your qualifications to a certain degree, and your job experience, the same thing, and also like just like financial security is, and being able to like make decisions like, I don't want to be in this marriage, but I live at my mom's house where we all live, and I wasn't really in a position to move out. And so, yeah, that's kind of where that comes from.
Well, careers build and build and build, and like a relationship builds and builds, and then once it's gone, and all that work. You don't get any.
Yeah,
you don't
it's
get any
not like
experience.
you can put it on your resume. Right?
Yeah, and truthfully, and like even like my most recent partner, we were both painters, and I lost a lot of job contacts because of that. Or maybe not lost, but it's like, I'm not going to reach out.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's
It's a bit more
his
awkward.
friend. Like, that's his, those are his people. And so, like, that sucks. Where, like, had I just been focusing on my own studio practice and my own kind of building up my own self as a business, I would just be in a much better place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think go on.
but just in this very short period of time, I've seen it like come back tenfold.
I think it's so important too because say you do eventually decide to settle down with somebody, having the financial security to be like, oh, I'm choosing this not because like rent sucks in New York or like I just think that gives you, I don't know, it just makes you feel like you're making more of an actual choice. And less of like, oh, I'm just gonna fall into this. And then also like you bring more to a relationship if you yourself have a fulfilling life. And I think a lot of women fall into this thing of like just kind of glomming onto their partner's life. I know I did, especially when I was younger. I was like, my plan was to go to law school and marry somebody, and I would have a job that was like lower paying and focus on like what I wanted. Or like my goals, but it never occurred to me that I should be financially independent until I ended a very long-term relationship and was like, fuck, I could have been making money that whole time.
Yeah.
But I think on top of the money thing, it is just building a life outside of that. And it is, it's very funny as a guy when you'll meet women who are like that. There's nothing against them. Some guys want that. Some guys want the housewife who's not going to have her own life and they want to absorb them completely. But for me, I'd be seeing someone and they'd very much be like, well, what are your friends doing this weekend? And I was like, you should have your own friends. And we can meld and do things. But when it becomes very clear that everything I'm doing is their whole life, and to your point, it's like, what are you bringing? It's like, it's so, when someone has a really satisfying, amazing life that is satisfying by themselves without anyone else, it's like, well, of course I want to be with that person. Their life is so good, it can sustain herself and me. So that's great. Whereas if someone hasn't built any of that, then it's like, yeah, you bring less to the table on either side. It's like I always found it funny when it was like, this is a weird example, but if I was at like a house party and I wanted to get people to like play games or like play a drinking game or play a board game, if you ask people, they don't want to come because there's nothing happening. But if you just start playing it with one person, people are like, oh.
And it looks
They
fun.
see it,
if
yeah.
you are having fun, you will
That's
attract more people because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, they're having fun, or like,
Yeah, so it's just like that. But yeah, so choosing career, I agree. That's the whole reason I'm in New York. I had to end a relationship to come here. And I think choosing your career and your dreams is the way to go.
It was also very important, like when we first started dating, and he was like, I moved here to do stand-up, and I was like, well, then you actually have to go do it, because like there's also nothing worse than being with somebody who doesn't follow their dreams,
Right.
and then especially if they use you as like, well, I can't because I'm doing this so that we can have this or we can have these things, and otherwise I would be following my dreams. Like that, I had gotten my last relationship with somebody who like never followed any of their dreams, just worked really, really hard. And you just see how that picks apart somebody. And so I was just like, no, you have to.
Yeah, Robin made me do stand-up. I came here during COVID, and then she was like, if you don't do stand-up, I'll leave you. So then I did a bunch of sets for her privately.
I was not going to be blamed for another man's...
She dragged me to do it, and the rest is history. But it was...
dreams.
What was that like? Did you do Zoom mics? Or
No,
Zoom
so
shows?
I still waited for COVID to end. So I got here right when it started. And I think a year later, approximately.
When did you move here?
I moved here March 2020.
Oh, right on time.
So I got here.
Right on
I was
time,
here
yeah.
6 months before everything shut down, so
Oh,
I was
really?
like,
So
right,
similar.
yeah.
And did you start a comedy then or after
No,
that?
I started comedy like a year and a half ago.
Okay, nice.
I
Yeah.
came here to paint.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, we double dreams. Okay, 2 dreams
Double
across one.
dreams. That's
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Robin sat me down, was like, you're going to do it. And I'm glad I did. Because again, I was doing worm behavior. Wasn't going to do it.
That's nerve-wracking. It is.
Yeah. No, that's the other one you said is know yourself. That was the tip, which I guess is similar to what you said, but the choosing career.
Yeah, knowing yourself is key, I think. But that's also to know yourself, and also just not just in relationships, but also choosing like what your career is and things like that. Yeah, that's pretty boring advice.
It's actually kind of difficult. Like I had a long-term relationship. We went to couples therapy before we broke up, and in doing that, I learned how to communicate what I liked sexually in the bedroom, which I had never done before. I had never even thought
Yeah,
about
groundbreaking.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh my god, so I just share this with my sexual partners?
I like how
What?
you said sexually in the bedroom. She was already communicating sexually in the living room.
Yeah, in the
That
living
was
room,
very
yeah.
good. In the bedroom, real stop.
Just so, and when I started dating, I set out to be like, okay, I'm not going to say sorry when I'm not sorry. I'm not going to like continue a relationship if I'm not interested in that person. I'm not going to like have sex with somebody I'm not attracted to. Like I had to like set these rules that seemed like kind of baseline normal, but I had to actually like train myself into that. Like it's crazy that I had to be like, I'm not gonna have sex with somebody I'm not attracted to. That's crazy. But like I spent my so much of my life just being like, okay,
Yeah, just kind of like lulled into
this.
it.
Yeah. He can feel.
I'm glad you got standards before we met. That's really unfortunate for me. I was like, Julian, you got to lift your game. I'm like, this sucks. Just fall into it, Robin. Fall into it.
So it's difficult to know like yourself, know what you want, and then like keep that in mind while you have somebody else who wants you in your face, like offering you companionship or whatever.
Right.
Whatever it is that makes us say yes when we want to say no.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like me specifically or just, but I feel like people project onto me loudly. And like, again, just kind of going, like a lot of times people are like, I get you. And like they'll say something that's like really off base and I'm like, cool. And like I don't correct them, but the pitfall of that is that eventually, in some cases, I start to believe those things.
I do hate when you're talking to someone that like I figured you out. I got you. You're this type of person. I'm like, I hate this. You are incorrect, and even if you were correct, I would never tell you.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you're like this. I once had a person. I don't know why, but they were just like, you'd like this. You'd like space stuff. And I was like, what?
What? What are you talking about?
When did I say I like space stuff? I was like, I do, but how do they know?
There's a real analogy here with the like people projecting things onto you and you making white on white art.
Yeah. There's. I'm just.
That's true.
The blank canvas.
Well, not
But
anymore.
not actually blank, right? Like,
Exactly,
not
but I
blank
have
at
my
all.
own textures.
Like very intentionally textured and not blank, but people being like, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I can put myself on this very easily. I can
Just-
project myself onto this like flawlessly. You won't even see what's underneath.
I'll just remove this thread.
Yeah. And a lot of artists actually like ask to collaborate in that way. They're like, this would be the perfect background for my artwork. And I was like, but it's kind of like an artwork already.
It's
Yeah.
complete.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
That's so
so
mean.
And insulting,
Yeah.
yeah.
This would be so perfect for me to project things
Yeah.
onto.
Oh my God, I could use this as a frame. This is perfect. Thank you so much. This is great. Do you ever think about putting real art on here? That'd be great. And you're like, what the fuck?
This has been like something that I'm grappling with since starting stand-up is that everyone is very excited for me to do comedy in a way that they have never been excited about my paintings.
Oh, really?
So it's like, yeah, it's weird.
Well, comedy is one of those like very frustrating art forms where everybody thinks they could do it. Mm-hmm. And I think painting is maybe not like that.
Yeah, comedy is more accessible across the board in every way.
Because you do comedy during conversations. I never accidentally do art.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it depends how you define art.
Yeah.
Stand-up is a form of art. I'm
It
kidding.
is. No, it is.
stand-up
It
is
is.
a form of
It
art.
is, but when someone's like, I'm an artist, and then they do fart jokes for 20 minutes, and then they just say a bunch of slurs, and they're like, as an artist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I don't know if you get to do
Well, there's
that.
bad art too.
Yeah.
That's true. It's fine. As a bad artist.
That's bad art. But it is an art, but people just think that they can do it because they're like, I made someone laugh in a conversation. And it's totally different.
Yeah. Have you ever got on stage?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
have no interest.
You're
I
so
love
funny.
Watching. Oh, thank you. I really like watching, but I don't just like the idea. I don't.
Robin is very funny and has never wanted to get on. But I do think if I gave her a mic, she'd never get off. She would. She'd just like, let me do this. And I was like, but when you always say you love karaoke, we went to a karaoke bar and you were like, I don't know if I should go up.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, that's always true with everything.
But do you karaoke in the house?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh,
I was destroying the neighbor's peace. Before I
Although I think Robin has a great voice, and I've said that many times. And then she found out I'm pretty much tone deaf.
found out he's tone deaf.
Because
We watched a weird.
it was a Star Trek
It was a weird
episode.
Star Trek episode, but Rebecca remains Stamos is in it. It's like a Star Trek remake, and she was singing, and she was not good. And he's like, she's a good singer, and I was like, oh no, oh no.
You're the most beautiful woman in the room.
Oh, honey, you sing like the angels.
Oh my God.
Sacre bleu.
Oh, it's awful. That like the way like there's all these like things like me like having like
A beautiful mind.
Yeah, the beautiful mind was happening. I was like seeing myself singing, and Julie's like, "You got a wonderful voice." I'm like,
Everyone else is like, and I'm like,
that's exactly it.
so good. You hit some of those notes. Okay, well, we'll do karaoke soon. That's something we joke about. Been open is like, Robin's not jealous of me sleeping with someone else, but if I did karaoke with someone else,
Well, especially because he doesn't like karaoke.
I do not like it. Oh, I don't mind it with people I like. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I get karaoke only ever happens to me when like I'm with friends and we're all drinking, and then they're like, "Let's go," and I'm like, "All right, fine." I'm also more okay with it when it's the private room one.
No, I think you got to sing out in the open for all the people to hear.
Mandatory. Well, I went to a friend's not bachelor party. It was just like his birthday. Went to a place, and there happened to be like 5 bachelor parties there, all doing karaoke in the public stage. And one of them had found out we were a group of guys who met at an a cappella group, and they were just crushing it. And I was like, what the fuck? And everyone was like
very
afraid
cute,
to, like 3 of them would go up and just dominate, like the beautiful renditions. And then the 4th was just a guy who had already put his name down, who was like,
"Oh, God.
I'm actually okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually good.
It's a tough act to follow.
And then Anyway, enough about karaoke. You had so many great stories in here. What is he? I'm interested in the subway meeting. I've been told not to approach women on the subway by the police. They said I got to stop doing that.
Okay, so when I first came to New York, I was like preaching this as I'm like, get off the apps, get onto the train. There's so many guys.
Did that work for you?
Yeah, I had 2 relationships. Okay, so when
You would breakdance on the train, right? That was how you would.
me.
No.
Showtime.
Showtime. Now, who wants
Showtime.
numbers? Numbers, anyone? A number, please. Anything helps. Not you, sir.
Helps. Oh my gosh. So I met a guy on the train. I was not even in New York for 48 hours. I was so stupid.
What train? This is important.
Yeah, it's important. We were at Broadway Junction, and he was like, which way to the Wilson stop? And that was my stop. And so I'm like, oh, it's this way on the L train. And so then we're like, again, standing not close to each other, but like I was like, okay, we just spoke. And I had just come from a very small village in France, where my last residency was before I moved here. And so I was also just kind of accustomed to like speaking to everyone,
Yeah.
like it's more like culturally like necessary, because if you didn't say hi to people in the street, you're like the village asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I just I'm like, oh, just talking to him. And then when we get off at the stop, he asks for my number. We meet up the next day for coffee, and we end up like spending the whole day together, and then we end up at a comedy show. This is like a reoccurring theme in my life. And
This is before you started comedy?
yeah,
You
yeah.
just liked it? Okay, cool.
I was a big fan.
Where'd you go?
Comic strip.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And then I ended up dating him, and we ended up quarantining together. Yeah, we were together for like over 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I met him on the train.
48 hours in.
New York.
Met your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Get on the train.
Get on the train, ladies.
Get off the apps. Get on the train.
Here's the question. Have you spoken to him since, or during this? Did he really not know where the Wilson stop was?
Okay, so
'Cause that's a move.
Great question, Julian. And so that's also like I was like, it was very flattering because I was like, oh, it looks like I know where I'm going. No, he knew where the Wilson stop was because he was going to his girlfriend's house.
Oh, what?
And he told me that, like, because, like, we would hang out in my neighborhood, and I'd be like, oh, isn't your, because he told me he was going to see a friend that night. And so I was like, oh, doesn't your friend, like, live around here? If you guys, like, we can all hang out if that makes sense.
Like, no,
And he's like, I have to tell you something. And he was like, I was going to see a girlfriend, and I broke up with her probably later, but he said he broke up with her then.
But I do think there's a thing.
Broke up with her before you guys quarantined together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the girlfriend's like, want to quarantine? He's like, no, I'm doing it with another girlfriend. All 3 could work if you want. I'll call her. I do think, I mean, I know people have this period, and you've said this when your relationship's going badly, it's like he might have in his head is like, oh, this is already on the way out.
Yeah.
Not saying it's excusable. I mean, it's also like you get the girl's number, and you're like, I don't know when the timeline was,
Yeah.
but
Then you get a little bit of like courage.
Right,
It's like,
exactly.
I don't have to be alone. If I leave, I could.
it's like chain smoking, but with relationships. Just
Yeah, I
chain
get
relationships.
it. I get it. And then the second guy notable guy that I met on the subway, I have a staring problem. Like, I will just stare at people. And so I was just staring at him on the platform. Or I was going down the escalator and he was on the platform walking and I was just looking at him.
Was it because he was attractive or you just stare at whatever?
Probably because he was attractive, but I look too long and I blink too long.
And you said a wooga, right? I believe.
In so many words. So I'm on the platform and then he actually like loops around and comes and like gets my number.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then we start seeing each other, but he's just like, this was definitely more casual. He was like always seemed like he was lying, like about things that I wasn't asking about. It was kind of like just sharing information that I wasn't asking for, and then also it sounded fake, all of it. He had like 2 apartments for some reason, and I was like, this is a wrap. Something's weird. Yeah. So I'm less inclined to recommend that as a way of meeting people.
Well, the first one seems like it was good for 2 years.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
I think. You both described non-threatening situations. What's tough is like if I'm on the train and I see an attractive girl, I like every permutation I'm running of like sit next to her, do this. Hey, it actually be like, oh, what book are you reading? Even then, everyone I feel like a creep. I would love it if a woman just stared at me for a minute and then I'd be like, okay, I think this is allowed.
Yeah. You should feel like a creep. That's correct. But
Always.
I don't know. Yeah, it's so tough. I mean, I was at the library. I wasn't there to read. I was just like killing time, and I wanted to meditate, so I'm like this, and then I'm like. I have my eyes open, just like down because I'm in public, and this guy is like, "Oh, do you have a headache?" And I'm like, "No." And then I'm just like back to meditation, and he's like, "Do you speak English?" And I'm like, "Also no." But he just won't stop, and so like that's the danger of it. But I don't know. It's such like a case by case basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think if you I think the first like the initial contact is like there's no harm, no foul.
Yeah, exactly.
The
I wasn't
second one
offended
is, like,
by
the
that.
second one is like now I'm telling you for sure I do not want to talk to you. And
Right.
My body language and my words and my voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you keep going after that, then it's like.
Yeah, I mean, by the end, he was like, "Did you know there's a muscle that's connected to your jaw?" Like he's like giving me an anatomy lesson. At this point, my eyes are fully closed because I'm just like narcoleptic for self-preservation, but like he just would not stop, and I was like, is it like I'm like I don't want to talk to you, but he just didn't get
I
it.
think the men who are worried about coming off as creeps are the ones who like just would
Yeah.
never like they just
Yeah.
would, like just from their own like social awareness and their own like fear of looking like a creep, they would just never get to that third,
Yeah.
where you're like they would never get kind of told to like politely fuck off like 3 times in
so
a
many
row
times.
without picking up the hint.
Well, thank you for the words of encouragement. I will start approaching more women in the subway
I think you should.
until I am a creep. Until I go, Robin, someone slapped me in the face. You're like, okay, you may have gone too far. I think that is the hour, which normally we do.
Thank you so much for
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you tell people where they can find you for art and comedy?
Oh yeah, so you can follow my comedy Instagram at Absinthe Leaf, and you can follow my painting Instagram at Aislinn Janek. We'll have to link that one. Not phonetically
I'll
sound.
put it in. Well, yeah, you have the
I'll
handles in there,
link
so I'll
that.
put that in the episode. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for
you.
listening. And remember to keep approaching women on the subway. They like
Yeah,
it.
do it.
Okay, we'll see you next time.